Procrastination is the great enemy of the creative life, that and distraction. So if you're struggling with procrastination, let's talk about why we procrastinate and what we can do to stop. Hey, I'm Megan, I'm your writing coach. Welcome, it's so good to see you. This video was requested a while ago and it's taken me a really long time to make it. Might we say I was procrastinating? Procrastination is something all of us writers are familiar with. I know I am. And if you want to stop procrastinating, I think one of the best things you can do is think about why you're doing it in the first place. Think of it like procrastination is a symptom. So instead of just slapping a band-aid on it, we need to dig through to the cause and then find the cure for that. So we're going to start with a few reasons why we might be procrastinating. Think about which one seems applicable to your situation. All right, first reason, fear of failure or fear of success. Often we procrastinate because we're afraid of making mistakes or failing. We're worried that our stories aren't going to be any good, that will never get published, so we put things off. We don't want to experience the rejection that could come from family and friends who think our story is trash, or from agents and publishers who think our story is trash, so we put off having to feel that by never finishing a project and submitting it. If we procrastinate, we can avoid all of those unpleasant feelings. The only problem is then we have the unpleasant feeling of never finishing a story. Sometimes, though, we're also afraid of succeeding. We might worry about what'll happen if we actually do get published. Will we be able to get published again? Will we just be a one-hit wonder? We can be afraid of being successful as well. Similarly, kind of tied in with this, we might procrastinate because of self-doubt. We don't feel like we're good enough to succeed. We don't even feel like we're good enough to be writers. Like, who are we? Imposter syndrome can set in. Am I even a writer? Should I even be doing this? Etc. Then there's perfectionism. Love it. Sometimes we set really high expectations for our work and we're not satisfied unless everything is perfect. We may find it hard to get things down on the page because it has to be just right. Or we get stuck thinking through ideas or outlining a story because nothing we put down seems right. So there's that. And then we might procrastinate because we're not feeling very motivated. Maybe we're burned out or uninspired. Maybe things at work or at home are taking more of our energy than usual and we just can't sit down and put the energy we need towards writing. Or similarly, we might be overwhelmed by the amount of things we have to do to finish our project. We might look at how much planning and outlining and writing and revising we have to do and be sort of paralyzed by this overwhelming sense of like, I don't even know where to start. Then I'll say as a bonus, distractions are also a companion to procrastination as well. We may be allowing ourselves to be easily distracted by emails, text messages, social media posts, struggling to even focus long enough to get our writing done. I think distraction isn't quite procrastination. It's more of a discipline problem, but it sneaks in when we want to procrastinate as a means of putting off the moment that we actually have to do our work. So usually to me, that's another symptom to take notice of and examine. Maybe we don't know where our story needs to go next. Maybe we don't know where to start. Or again, maybe we're feeling uninspired or burned out. I know for me, when I start getting distracted, it's usually because the task that I'm doing feels tedious or boring. So that's a marker for me of like, oh, okay, I need to do something about that, aside from not doing the task. Finally, we may procrastinate because we don't have a structure or routine to our writing time. We don't have a plan, we don't have a specific time each day that we set aside for writing, or a general sense of organization for our project. We may not know how to prioritize our tasks or manage our time effectively. Where do we start? What do we do first? How much time should we set aside and when? So for all those potential reasons for procrastination, which one do you think relates to you the most? What's behind your procrastination? Now that we know some of what causes it, let's talk about how to stop. Of course, one of the best ways to stop procrastinating, no matter what the cause is to have some outside help to keep you accountable. As a writing coach, this is why I offer monthly accountability check-ins. Basically, it's a service where writers can put a meeting with me on their calendar, and they know that when they sit down and meet with me, I'm going to ask them what progress they've made. So then during the month, they can think, okay, I got to get this done because I'm meeting with Megan and she's going to ask me. And just having that little bit of accountability that you're not responsible for, because we can all be like, oh, I want to get this done by the end of the month. But if we're the only ones holding that goal, we can just move the goal or get rid of the goal. So by having accountability check-ins once a month, it's a really easy way to not have to hold on to that goal yourself. It gives you a little extra motivation to keep going. If your root cause was fear of failure, success, or self-doubt, you may want to redefine what you think of as failure or success. Instead of telling yourself that your draft has to be perfect or you've failed, try telling yourself that it doesn't have to be perfect. I know that's simple, but sometimes it just takes stopping those thoughts and reframing them to help us keep going. No first draft is ever perfect. No second draft or third draft is ever perfect. Dare I say it, no finished draft is ever perfect. The thing with art is even after it's out there and published, you're probably going to read it back one day and go, I wish I had changed that, or I could have said that better. So it's going to be really hard to finish any story if you're constantly telling yourself it has to be perfect. So try introducing a new thought in place of those. It may also be helpful to think through, okay, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that could happen? Sometimes it's not as bad as we might think. And then try getting to the root of those fears and focusing on what you can control right now versus what you may not be able to control in the future. You know, I can't control whether a publisher is going to love or hate my story, but I can control whether or not I finish it and whether or not I send it out there. They might love it, but if I never finish it, I'll never know. If you're doubting yourself, it could be helpful to take a couple of writing classes. You could be a great writer just crippled with self-doubt, but if you take some classes and work on your skills, it could boost your confidence a little bit. So then there's tuning out distractions. How do we do that? I often wonder if there's ever been an age where it's easier to be distracted. I don't think so. So again, you have to develop a little bit of discipline with this one. If working on the computer is difficult, ditch the computer and just use a pen and paper. If you're able to create a writing space in your home, I definitely recommend that. Set aside an entire room if you can, or just a corner of one of your rooms, and that is your writing space. Nothing else goes into that space except what you need to write. If you use this space regularly as a distraction-free zone, eventually when you sit down there, your mind and body will be prepped and you're like, okay, this is work mode, no distractions. Again, it takes discipline, but you can do it. It also might be helpful to notice when you're getting distracted. Is it right before you start writing? Is it after you've been writing for a few minutes? Is it after you've had a really good flow of writing and then you kind of go, oh wait, what do I do next? Noticing when these moments happen can help you actively choose to stop and go, okay, I'm not going to reach for the distraction. I'm just going to keep going. Or at the very least, I'm just going to sit here and look at my page until something happens. What I'm not going to do is allow myself to be distracted. Okay, if lack of motivation was the root cause for you, I'd really encourage you to assess whether or not you're burned out, because you might need a break. You might genuinely need some time off. If there are ways to lighten your load at home or at work, try to do that, even if it's a small change, even if you just take a couple days off. What you don't want to do is put even more pressure on yourself. You'll only make it worse. Yes, everyone says that writers have to write every day in order to be successful, but forget those people. If you're burned out, rest. Your story will still be there in a week, 2 weeks, whenever you pick it back up again. But if you're not burned out and you're still feeling unmotivated, you might need to switch things up a little bit. Maybe you're not feeling as inspired about the current story you're working on. Is it the story that you need to be working on? Sometimes the answer is yes. Sometimes, again, we just need to be a little bit disciplined and say, okay, even if I don't feel motivated, I'm going to work on this project and trust that motivation and inspiration will come back. I think a lot of the time as creatives, we wait for inspiration and motivation to then act on, but really what happens a lot of time is motivation and inspiration follows our action. So even if we don't feel like it, we sit down and write and start working on our story, we might find that we get back in the groove of it. We're like, oh, I love this. So it could be that situation, but it also could be that the story just isn't really right for this time. I've put stories on the shelf after spending a lot of time working on them. Sometimes it's just like, you know what? I don't know where to take this story, or I don't think this has what it takes to be a good story. I don't think I need to invest in it anymore. Maybe down the line, sure, but there are other projects that are more worth my time right now. So that's up to you to determine, but just be careful on throwing out a story that you've been working on just because you're not feeling motivated. Sometimes, again, getting ourselves into the rhythm of writing can help those feelings to come back. And then if you think the reason behind your procrastination is having a writing routine or organizing your projects, you may need to create a writing schedule or adjust your current schedule. Set a routine that works for you and stick to it, even if it's 15 minutes a day. It's better to start small and get into the habit, build that habit, than to procrastinate and never finish your story. This one also takes discipline. So you may need to start by choosing to stick to your writing habit for 2 days and then take a day off, and then stick to it for 3 days and then take a day off. You might need to reward yourself or give yourself a little bit of an incentive that can help you stay on track as well. If you're getting stuck when you sit down to write and you're not sure where your story is going, definitely check out my playlist on tips for outlining. If this video helped you, it really helps me out if you could like, subscribe, or leave a comment. As always, I will see you next time. Now get back to writing. Enough procrastinating. Bye.